Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you a very stylish scholarship bag recipe. I want to see our bag in detail right away. We will get such a beautiful texture by bringing two different shelf yarns together. I want to show the base right away. We will prepare a rectangular base. Our model consists of only single crochet. If you look, it is a very easy example. I am sure even those who are new to knitting can do it very easily. With a very simple technique, we place the scholarship in our bag. It is a very neat and beautiful work. Look here, I wrapped the scholarship with the wrapping Raffia yarn and completed the joining with the shiny yarn. Here I wrapped the scholarship with the shiny yarn and completed the joining with the shiny yarn. You can also see the difference in the mouth. I completed the scholarships like this. You can do it in two ways. I want to show you the inside of our bag right away. The inside is quite deep. It is a bag that can easily hold your phone, wallet, glasses case, keys, and many other items. If you want, you can use this as an evening bag or as a daily bag very easily. I want to show you the other one in detail. It turned out really nice. This color turned out great too. Would you look? Again, I share with you step by step how much yarn I used, where I got it, and all the details with its measurements in the video. They turned out to be wonderful pieces. You can easily finish these two bags in one day. It has a very easy construction. When we put this raffia yarn together, it becomes really easy to knit. It doesn't hurt your hands at all. Let's show you the details of the burst of our bag up close. If you want, you can sew a lining to this bag, but it was a beautiful work that can be used without the straps. It was a great project that I liked. I hope you like it too and prepare it colorfully. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I want to make a small request from you. I would be really happy if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I got all the materials I will use for my bag from Aksa Knitting Boutique. I will write the contact information in the description section of the video. You can reach me from there. I will use Aksa Knitting Boutique's Sarum Raff yarn for our bag. Look, I want to show its texture up close. The knitting is quite easy. We will also use shiny Raffi. Look, one ball of this Sarum Raffi yarn will be enough. We will prepare our bag using 2 balls of this shiny Raffi yarn. When these two yarns are combined, the knitting is really soft. We will have prepared our work comfortably without hurting the hand. Our yarn is like this and 16 centimeters. Look, we have a metal burrs in size. I will use a burrs of 16 centimeters, but if you want to use larger burrs or smaller burrs, I will share with you in detail in the video that you can adjust this size. My hook size will also be 4.5 millimeters. You can determine your own hook size according to the thinness, thickness, and the density and looseness of your own yarn. Look, these winding rack yarns have 3 different colors. There is a black one and this one. It has a lighter tone. Look, I had previously knitted and prepared my bag. Here I used the shiny gold yarn. Here I will use the shiny copper yarn. These also have many different colors. You can contact Aksa Orgo Boutique to see their colors. Look, I knitted and prepared my bag. Now I want to show the base with the same numbers. We will prepare our work by starting with the same numbers. I'm immediately putting my yarns and materials aside. I took this yellow Raffia yarn and bright Raffia yarn. I first start with a chain. I knit my first chain after locking it. I pull my starting chains so that they are a little looser than the setting. I start with 13 chains for this bag's 16 centimeter bush. Let's do it together right away. I pulled 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 chains. Now I'm turning the reverse part of the chain, not the straight part. We will use the dotted lines at the back. Look, we will use the yarn point. I leave the last chain here. I insert myself into the back dotted line of the next chain and make a loop from this point. I have 2 loops. I wrapped it. I passed the thread. I wrapped through both of them. I prepare my single crochet. The model consists of only single crochets. I insert myself into the next chain, make a loop on the back dotted line and knit my single crochet. Now we will prepare single crochets in this way. We will have 12 single crochets in total. Now, you don't have a 16 centimeter scholarship. How we need to measure, I want to talk about this immediately. Look briefly, when I hold it like this, I want our base to have the shortest side according to the base so that I can place my burrs on a rectangular base if you want. When you open your burrs here, you can also prepare the base in the size of your burrs when it is opened. Because we will prepare a reverse knitting pattern, that is, the base is not a rectangular base made by starting from the middle and pulling a chain and knitting it around it in a straight line. Here we are preparing our rectangular base by knitting 12 single crochets, 1 plain and 1 reverse. The important logic here is that your burrs should fit perfectly inside your bag. In other words, I want to show it like this. You have knitted the bag base and prepared it, you are finished. This mouth part is important for us. When I put the bursa in, it should fit comfortably. It should not be too loose or too narrow. In other words, I should not force it in. If you force your bursa into it like this, if the mouth part is narrow, it will cause tension at the bottom of the bag. That doesn't look good either. Look, I can easily place this, or you knit it too loosely. Your bursa is too small for the mouth of the bag. What do? You can make additions by decreasing about 5, 6 rows before, or you can make an excessively loose pleat. I have shared the pleat logic before. If anyone is curious, I will share the video link with you again. The important thing is, look at the logic in burst bags. Look at the mouth of your burst bag. If it is comfortable like this, it means we can easily place the burst in the bag. I want to show it to the base here. We will complete our work by knitting 22 rows with 12 single crochets. I'm just putting this aside. Now look here, we started by knitting our single crochets. Now let's knit our single crochets until the last chain. Let's share the return with you right away. We've come to the end of our row. We knit our single crochet by inserting into the back cut line in the last chain. We have 12 single crochets. This number may be less for you. It may be more. You can adjust it according to your scholarship, but I think this measurement is enough. You can use this base measurement in all scholarships. In fact, do it like this. Look, when you open your bursa, because this edge measurement does not change much, the important thing is the length. Start with 13 chains here and get 12 single crochets. If your bursa is not 16 centimeters but a larger bursa, you can increase the number of rows here. I will knit 22 rows. You can increase this to 30 rows according to your bursa. Now I will explain these to you step by step as we progress. Now, after making the last single crochet here, I make a chain. I turn my knitting over and insert into the first space that comes. I took a loop. I knit my single crochet, look again, I knit my single crochet. Now I insert into the space where the next single crochet is. I took a loop, single crochet. Now we will proceed by knitting 1 single crochet for each. I really like the texture when these two yarns come together. It really has a great texture. Now we will come to the last point here. We will knit our single crochets. If you are someone who is starting to knit for the first time, we need to obtain the same number of single crochets in the second row as the number of single crochets you made in the first row. We knitted 12 single crochets. Now in this order, we need to have 12 single crochets again. If you are new to knitting, it is also useful to count your single crochet hands and proceed. Now let's come to the end of the row, show the last dot and move on to the next row. Let's share it with you again. We have come to the end of the row. The last dot here looks like a spike. We insert this dot and knit our last single crochet, that is our 12th single crochet. Look, I want to show you its texture closely. Now we pulled a chain and turned our knitting over again and started knitting our single crochets by inserting into the first space that comes here. We continue by knitting 1 single crochet into each space again. If you think I am knitting too fast at this stage, you can slow down the video or conversely speed it up. Look, its depth is really easy. At this point I want to show its depth like this. It does not strain the hand at all. My hand does not hurt at all. It has a really soft knit and its texture is very nice. Look, its texture is like a block. It looks great, especially after ironing it. I loved its texture after ironing it. Now look, the last point is right here. We see the chain right away. We will have knitted our 12th single crochet by inserting it into the last spike-shaped part, again making turns with a chain. Now look at our base here. We have 12 single crochets. We will continue until we reach 22 rows. Now let's knit 22 rows and continue to the next step together. We are on our 22nd row. Now we insert the last point here. We knit 3 single crochets to the point where we will knit our last single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Look, our rectangular base is now formed. We will knit the corners with 3 single crochets and make a frame like this for a row. I would like me to give you the measurement in centimeters of the single crochet we have knitted in 22 rows. Even if you use the same yarn and the same crochet hook number, the measurements I give may be a little less or a little more than your measurements. This will change due to our knitting tightness and looseness. Look, my sole length is 22 centimeters right now. We will make a frame in a row measuring 9 centimeters and 99.5 centimeters. After making the frame, we will share the measurement with you again. Now, 3 single crochets to the last single crochet to the last single crochet. Is it difficult? We turned here. Look, now we will knit a frame from the flat side. We will continue from here. We will knit 3 single crochets to the corners and 1 single crochet to the other places. Now look, which is suitable. I'm inserting into my empty space right here. I knit 1 single crochet in between. Look, which is suitable. This is the empty space. I knit 1 single crochet to the points that come like this. Look, look. Right to this point, I am knitting my single crochet now. Let's knit 1 single crochet in this part. We will knit 3 in this corner. I want to share this point with you right away. I have come to the end of the row. I will make the turn here right away, but look, I am also inserting the point here and knitting my single crochet. Now I will insert the point here. Chain point. Look, I am inserting the chain point and knitting 3 single crochets in this corner, 1 or 2. Now the chained points look like a spike. Look, it is important that we insert the back cut line. That is why it is important that when we insert these points, the texture is not damaged. Now 2 lines will appear. Now the chained points look like this. 2 lines look like a V, and we knit our tight needles by inserting once in each of these points. When we come to the corner, we will knit our 3 tight needles again. I want us to complete this row together. Look, the last chain point. Now this last point comes to the corner, so I knit 3 tight stitches to this corner until 3 here. We hide the short yarn. Now look at the next one. I am dipping into the appropriate space we have passed to the edge part. At this point, I will flatten our hands like this. Since we will be ironing with a steam iron anyway, the knitting will look quite regular. Now let's come to the end part here by inserting 1 needle into each one. In other words, let's continue until this corner, until the row of single crochets we knitted in the 22nd row. Look, we have come to this end part. I am inserting into the appropriate space right here on the vertical part of the single crochet we knitted. Now I have knitted 1 single crochet here. This corner needs to be triple. Now I will knit 1 more single crochet here. Look, I've knitted 2 single crochets to the last point. Then I come to the top of the first single crochet. I took out a loop. I slid the loop I took out through the waiting loop and went up by pulling a chain. I didn't knit this bag in a spiral. We went up with a sliding chain. Now at this stage, it is necessary to iron the base. Now look at this stage from the reverse side. With an iron, I will press and iron it like this. It is already a thick textured knit. It will be quite nice. In other words, its texture becomes more beautiful with the iron. I definitely recommend that you iron it. If you try to iron the base after knitting the bag completely, it will stretch. We definitely do gradual ironing. We knitted the base, we finished it. Now we will iron the base after knitting and finishing the wall part. We will have completely ironed the wall part. Now let's iron the base and share the next stage with you right away. We ironed our knit and I will give you the measurement in centimeters again. Look, its length is close to 22, 5 to 23 centimeters. The width is also 11 centimeters. The hand is also 11 centimeters. The size of our base is like this. Now we are moving on to knitting the wall part. What did we do here? We made a slip and went up with a chain. After that, we will continue straight by knitting one single crochet to each single crochet. We will not turn the knitting in reverse straight. I come immediately to the first point. I insert the first single crochet to the top and knit my single crochet. I insert the next point tight again. Now what we will do is from now on, we will proceed by knitting one single crochet to each one. Look at you here. We have made the frame completely flat as we have made one single crochet to each one. We will come to the end and start point here. We knitted the first row of single crochet on the back and our bag started to concave immediately. We knitted our single crochet here. Now, after knitting the last single crochet, there is a slip point. I do not touch this slip point. I insert into the top space where the first single crochet is. I pull out a stitch and make my slip. After the slip, I pull a chain and come back. I insert into the top of the first single crochet and knit my single crochet. Now, in the meantime, we will continue by knitting one single crochet for each of them. The end of the row, the end and the beginning are quite clear. Look. You see the slip point. Again, by inserting into the top of the first single crochet, we will connect to the new row with the slip, and we will go to the new row with a chain. In this way, we will have created our ends and beginnings. Look, I want to show it in the other bag. I continued this until I reached 15 rows. I will immediately take out my yarn like this. I completed it in the same measurements by knitting 15 rows. I finished the wall part. How many centimeters did 15 rows give us? Let's share it right away. The size of my bag. Look, it's close to 13-14 centimeters. We can say 14 centimeters. Now I'm going to join here. I'm tightening each one again. Look, we're going around it completely in a circle like this and we're making our bag hollow. You can make it in any size you want. Now, after knitting the last single crochet here, I cut and remove our yarn a little bit, about 15 centimeters. I took the end of the yarn directly from inside the single crochet. Now here is the first single crochet point we knitted. Look, I'm not inserting it to the top of the first single crochet, but to the top of the second single crochet. I take the yarn from here and pass it from front to back. Then this dotted line is right behind the last single crochet I knitted. And I will look at the single wing on the outside. When I turn it, this is the dotted line and the outside repeat. That is the point where the yarn comes. I am sinking the yarn to this point. I am sinking the yarn from here. We are taking it inside from the points. And when I pull it like this, look, we have created it on the top of the first tight needle and it is all finished like this, spike, spike. What will we do now? We will hide this yarn inside without spoiling the shape of the knitting. Let's hide the yarn inside. We have hidden the yarn inside enough. I am also cutting and removing this excess yarn. If you are going to do lining, you can do lining of your pants at this stage. Now we will move on to placing the burrs. First, you need to wrap the burrs. Look, by the way, let's repeat this. If the burrs fits comfortably inside, it means that your bag is the size. As I said, you can work in the dimensions you want. Your burrs does not necessarily have to be 16 centimeters. For larger burrs, look at the base length and keep the width the same. Start with 12 tight needles. You can work by increasing the number of base rows here for larger scholarships by making the length a little longer according to your scholarship. Now I will put my knitting bag aside like this. We will move on to this wrapping. Look, we will make the scholarship with this wrapping shelf yarn. I am tying it right here. I will leave a little bit of length from the edge point and leave the end long so that we can wrap it easily. Let's make two situations like this so that it doesn't unwind. We will hide this short rope later. Now look, I fixed it to this point and look at my ball. I wrapped my unwrapped rope around my ball like this. By the way, I have this much yarn left. These balls are 100 grams. 100 grams of this wrapping yarn is enough in the bag. Now look around the bursa with this yarn. With a rope, we will wrap it. I hold the ball by making it inside out like this. I don't want the metal part to be seen because we will be joining it with shiny raffia rope. Look, we will continue like this and wrap our bursa. After wrapping it all, we will wrap it all the way to the bottom without breaking the rope, and then we will wrap our bursa in the same way on the other side. After wrapping, we will finish by breaking it here. Look, I cut my rope here. I am at the last point. I am wrapping my rope again on these parts. I had a rope that I left short here. I will wrap this one more turn on the inside like this and tie them right here. If we make 2 knots like this, it will be enough. Then we will take this part inside. Look, we have completely wrapped our bursa in this way. Look, we have completed it in this way. Now let's move on to placing it in our bag. Here, we definitely place our bag on a flat surface according to the base and make the edges of our bag clear. Look, I will immediately attach a safety pin like this here. Opposite. Look again, I am providing control and I am attaching my safety pin to this point. Now I will count the single crochets opposite each other. I will make sure they are equal. Then I will tell you how many single crochets there are in these parts by leaving gaps. I am starting to count from the point where I attach the safety pin for you. When we count our single crochets, we have 36 single crochets on this side and 36 single crochets on this side. Now with these safety pins, this is the exact middle of this side. Look here, 1234. I attach my safety pin to the 4th one on this side. Look, let's count from this part starting from the exact middle, 1, 2, 3, 4. I attach my single crochet now. Together with this point, I am subtracting 1, 2, 3, 4, this point. Look, I attach my single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet. Now let's not take away the gaps that will remain on this side, the points where there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets. Look, when I hold it like this, that is, the screwed part should remain open a little. There will be 6 single crochets here except for the safety pins. We will not combine 2, 4, 6 single crochets. Now let's leave our 6 single crochets here in the same balanced way on the side part. Look at the points I determined for the bursie. I tied it with a shelf thread so that it doesn't slip while combining here, because if the bursie moves a little bit forward or backward, it will look very distorted. I don't want that either. Now, am I attaching a shiny shelf thread to Ita's needle? I will attach a long amount of it. First, I make 2 layers like this, look long enough. I will combine it in a single layer. You can do it in 2 layers. It can be combined in 2 layers, even like that. Let's see, now I made a connection in this part. These points will remain open. I will first pass the needle from where the hooked place is. I will hide my thread a little inside through a few points. Let's leave it here like this. I first fix the rope by passing it through the intermediate points. And from the point I determined, I pass the yarn over the burrs, and from the inside I insert the top space where the tight needle is and take out my yarn with the help of a needle. We will combine it like this with the wrapping work. I will pass it over the same point once more so that this part is solid, our starting point. Then I will take this yarn inside. Again, look, I pass my yarn over the burrs. I insert the top of the next tight needle inside, and I take out my rope. I skip my yarn and take my yarn out with the help of a needle by inserting it into the top of the tight needle from the inside. Look, I will place this place very easily by sewing like this. I get through, and from the inside, I hope it was understandable. In this way, we will sew our stitches in a regular way from the points I have determined. How do I pass this gap section right away? I will share with you right away in this part. How do we do it? Let there be no questions in mind here. We proceeded as we described here. Look, I have come to the point where the hook is. Now what am I going to do here now? Look here, I am not continuing to wrap the yarn. We will leave this gap empty. That is why it is necessary to fix this part from the point where the knitting is. I am passing it through several points. Look, I fixed the yarn here. I will run it inside. If you do this with a crochet hook, you can think of it as slipping. Let's do it inside and outside so that I can throw it more easily. Look, I am not stitching from the tops of the tight needles. I am not sewing bursa. I am passing these parts normally. Inside out. Look, I'm passing through the tight needles in order, from inside to outside, from outside to inside. I pass through the tight needles in order, up to the point where the safety pin is. Look, I'm passing the yarn from here. I'll take it out from the next point again, like this, from the inside, and now we've left enough space here. Look, from the points we've determined, now I'm going to place the bursa, like this. I'm definitely checking if there's any crookedness, etc. Because as I said, it's important to place the bursa properly. Let's take out that safety pin so that it doesn't get in our way. I'm going to jump right into this from this point on. We will pass to inserting the burrs by inserting the next tight needle when our yarn is finished. We can fix the yarn and reattach it as we did at the beginning. If your yarn is short, you can proceed in that way now. I continue in the same way here, passing the yarn over it, inserting it into the next tight needle points, and we make our stitch as it is here. Look, we left this part empty, that is by making slides without skipping the yarn over the burrs. I have passed the yarn here. I have tied it to this point again. Now I will sew in the same way here. I will finish my wrapping stitch in this part at the end. I will remove the excess yarns and safety pins that I have placed in these parts. We will have finished our burrs and placed it in our bag. I completed our bag as we described it to you. Look, I finished the piece I knitted by describing it with you. Here I wrapped the burrs with shiny thread. Look, here we wrapped it with mat, that is, winding shelf thread, and stitched it with shiny thread. Here we wrapped the burrs with shiny thread and stitched it again with shiny thread and completed our bag. It really was a wonderful work. I hope you like it and try it. I wish ease to those who will do it in advance. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see each other in future videos.